Breaking on 4 News now at 6. A man on the run, 2 dead, and an officer wounded. What we know about a shooting on the Colville Reservation.
Well, the weekend is here, and so is the much-needed rain. I'll let you know if we will get a break from the wet weather anytime soon in your First Alert forecast.
Crime, safety, and rising home costs. We explore more issues 2 candidates say are plaguing areas like Medical Lake and Cheney. You're watching 4 News now at 6.
Breaking new information on a triple shooting on the Colville Reservation. Investigators are searching for this man, Curry Pinkham. They say he's a suspect in the killing of 2 people and the shooting of a police officer. The Colville Tribe's Emergency Services says he was reportedly seen in Elmer City, which is near the Cooley Dam. Thanks for joining us. I'm Aaron Luna.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Now, if you do see him, you are asked to call 911 immediately. As of right now, 2 people are in custody in this triple shooting, including Zachary Holt and 1 unidentified man. This all started in the small town of Keller near Nespelem, where one of at least the suspects was arrested. This is all about 2 hours northwest of Spokane. Let's send it over to Jordan Smith. He is there with a timeline of what happened leading up to police telling people to shelter in place.
Well, here in Nespelem, residents here have been hunkered down. The only activity really on these streets has been a multitude of police cars circling the area looking for that 3rd suspect. This shooting took place on Thursday night. Colville police say Zachary Holt and an unidentified man are responsible for killing a brother and a sister in Keller, as well as injuring an officer. The 3rd suspect, Curry Pinkham, remains at large. Multiple agencies, including tribal police, Washington State Patrol, and the FBI, have been circling the town of Nespelem searching for Pinkham. I spoke with numerous neighbors who live in the area. Their moods were solemn, and nearly everyone I spoke with said this is a type of situation that does not happen here. When I asked for interviews, they politely told me they would like to stay off camera. And I'm told the majority of people here in Nespelem and Keller learned of this developing situation through social media. All of them advised to shelter in place at their homes. Classes for all children were canceled in the area as well. And people here are hopeful that police can find that 3rd and final suspect. This whole situation, understandably, has everybody in this town feeling uneasy. Reporting in Nespelem, I'm Jordan Smith. I'll send it back to you.
4 News now spoke to a woman who didn't want us to show her face. She told us people told her to call for help because someone had been shot. She told us she grabbed her kids and ran inside.
Nothing like this happens. I was totally shocked. This is a really good community. We're all close together, and this was unexpected.
People living in these communities are still in shock, dealing with tragedy and trauma they never expected.
And they're now trying to move forward and find ways to cope. Our Esther Bauer met up with some neighbors in Nespelem and is there with their message.
Joe Leach says all he could do today was come down to his dad's property and watch the flames as his own emotions heat up. When they were put on lockdown, he didn't really know what was going on, but never thought this kind of tragedy would strike their tight-knit community. He isn't sure what's next, but says this kind of pain cuts deep.
Yesterday I had a friend, today I don't. Right now we're just doing what we can to take that next step forward.
Numerous law enforcement agencies comb the streets looking for the 3rd suspect. Joe and his father are just looking to find peace, processing all kinds of emotions from a shooting that killed 2 with the suspect still on the loose.
And it is what we've been anticipating for the entire week now, that cold fall weather finally arriving here in the inland Northwest.
The Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker is here with when we can expect a little bit of break from the rain. Chris.
We have some very well-timed breaks from the rain. I want to start off. Alex Crescente just got back to the station from covering a football game in Mullen. He said he saw some flakes on the interstate, and here's the latest picture from Lookout Pass. You can see a little bit of snow on the side of the road there, and there were some flakes falling, but nothing sticking to the roads. We're not quite to that point yet. Here's a broader view on our satellite and radar, and we're starting to see things taper off quite a bit around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, but they're not going to come to a complete halt yet. If you are heading out to some Friday night fun or going to a football game yourself, be prepared for at least a few sprinkles, and those bleachers are going to be wet too, I'll tell you. We'll zoom in on the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area and see there is is still very light rain, primarily in North Spokane and Kootenai counties, and then further north into North Idaho. Temperatures, boy, that came as a shock to the system today. We are in the 40s in Spokane. In Coeur d'Alene, it is 42, but it's 39 right now in Post Falls, just 36 at Spirit Lake, and 39 in Deer Park. That is coat weather, and don't forget your gloves, too. Meanwhile, in our temperatures around the region, you can see quite a difference as we head west into the Winthrop, Moses Lake, Wenatchee, all in the 50s. You are going to be much warmer and drier with a Cascade rain shadow, keeping things pretty quiet for that portion of the state. Once you're into eastern Washington and North Idaho, however, we have more rounds of rain on the way. More rain overnight tonight. For Saturday, expect a chance of showers through the day, especially in the morning, but it will taper off. By the time we're into the afternoon, you may just run into a sprinkle or two. High temperature of 46 with a breeze. It is going to be feeling like late fall. We're just going from one extreme to another here in the forecast. I will tell you about a pretty nice Sunday forecast. You won't want to miss that, and the next system on the way in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Thanks, Chris. Washington lawmakers and the state's attorney general are teaming up to prevent crisis pregnancy centers and period tracking apps from giving away your information. Lawmakers say period tracking apps can sell sensitive information about a woman's late period or miscarriage to data brokers. If approved, the Empowered Act will block apps and websites from collecting that data. It would also prevent them from tracking those who visit crisis centers and targeting them with pro-life messaging and political ads.
WSU is now lifting its COVID-19 vaccine requirements for most employees, contractors, and volunteers. The requirement will be lifted in coordination with Governor Jay Inslee's announcement that all remaining COVID-19 emergency orders and the state of emergency in Washington will end on October 31st. Vaccinations will still be required for those enrolled on a physical WSU campus through the remainder of the current academic year. Also breaking tonight, President Biden's student debt relief program is on hold. A federal appeals court has temporarily barred the administration from canceling loans while they consider a challenge to the policy.
Hospitals across the country are filling up with children suffering from a common respiratory illness. What one health expert says is making kids more susceptible. That's coming up next on 4 News Now at 6.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by Chewelah Casino.
This is another one of those surprise medical bills you get in the mail. I've gotten them. You've gotten them. I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers. With inflation crushing our families, we need to put a stop to these. I support requiring hospitals, insurers, and doctors to disclose their prices so you can know the real cost and can shop around for the best care. I approve this message because no one likes surprises, especially this kind.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
There's nothing like a fresh coat of paint to transform a home, a room, or a piece of furniture. No matter the project, the folks at your local Ace Hardware store are here to help you with all your paint needs. With our wide selection of premium brand paints and accessories, the experts at Ace will make sure you have everything you need to complete your paint project, no matter how big or small. Come see us today.
The more I learn about Tiffany Smiley, the more worried I get.
Tiffany Smiley has said that it would be awesome to have Donald Trump support. Donald Trump is far from awesome.
She questioned the integrity of the 2020 election.
Come on. Smiley promised Mitch McConnell that she would flip control of the Senate to him.
They could rig the courts with more extreme judges.
She could give Mitch McConnell the power to pass a nationwide abortion ban.
That's horrible.
The more you learn about Tiffany Smiley, the worse it gets.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising. Considering selling your RV? R&R wants it. Tired of paying storage fees? R&R needs it. Just don't use it anymore? R&R will buy it. Due to a critical shortage of pre-owned RVs, R&R RV is currently paying absolute top dollar for your used RV. Any year, any make, any model. Turn your RV into cash or flip it for a newer model. So if you no longer use it or want it, let R&R RV buy it. Visit the R&R RV Superstore in Liberty Lake or call Keith at 509-499-2601.
Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi just supersized the IRS to get more money to spend. $80 billion, 5 times the current budget of the IRS. 87,000 new recruits, an IRS larger than the Pentagon. But this battle isn't over. I'll keep fighting to protect law-abiding, hard-working Idahoans. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message. We must stop Washington's overreach.
Hey, can you get out?
Get out of the car!
Come on, man. Get out of the car.
Get out of the car!
You just saw California police rushing to rescue a man from a burning car. Officers say he may have been under the influence. He suffered minor injuries. One of the officers was treated for smoke inhalation and was later sent home. Health officials are sounding the alarm over the growing number of children being hospitalized for a respiratory illness.
Experts say as of now, 80% of pediatric beds in ICUs are full. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez explains what might be making children more susceptible to RSV.
Dwindling children's hospital beds, intensive care units being pushed to capacity, overwhelmed healthcare workers, all triggered by a surge in a common respiratory virus, also known as RSV, spreading at unprecedented levels amongst children.
Our beds are filled to capacity. The kids keep coming in. I have never seen this level of surge, specifically of RSV, coming into our hospital.
Federal data shows pediatric hospital beds are filling up more now than they have over the past 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Over the last 10 days, we've had over 100 kids that have come in with RSV into our system, which is really unprecedented.
Some doctors say children being more isolated to protect them from COVID may have fueled the rise in RSV cases.
I think their immune system just hasn't seen the number of viruses a typical child prior to the pandemic would have seen.
Kids were socially distanced. They were wearing masks for a long time, properly so. We needed to do that to prevent COVID infections. But now these viruses are capturing a population that is completely not used to them.
Despite the surge, doctors say they don't want parents to be too alarmed.
RSV is not as serious as COVID was in the adult population. We can take care of these kids. We can actually provide the care. The majority of them will get better, will go home.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Here are 4 things to know about your weather. It's a damp and chilly evening. If you're inside watching TV, that's a good thing. Stay put. Mountain snow. It's going to be a showery Saturday, especially the first part of the day, and then dry on Sunday, but not dry for long. More wet weather to tell you about after the break.
Night, the all-new 2020 true crime.
Here in this picture-perfect suburb lived the Chadwick family.
Inside, there'd been violence.
This is now a crime scene.
Now we've got a mystery. Peter says that he's been kidnapped.
He has a very strange story to tell.
The plot thickens.
And it's all leading to one international manhunt.
Wait until you hear what our team uncovered investigating this one man.
2020, tonight on ABC.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Great Floors.
There's a clear choice for Senate. While Tiffany Smiley stood with Mitch McConnell and the big drug companies to oppose lowering the cost of prescription drugs, Patty Murray is busy working for us.
I worked with Democrats and Republicans to ban surprise medical bills, and I led the fight to pass legislation to lower the cost of prescription drugs, including capping insulin at $35 a month. I'm Patty Murray. I approve this message to focus on what really matters, you.
Is one casino really any better than the next? Well, at Northern Quest, we've got the largest gaming floor in the region, not to mention the most slot titles, the most payouts, the largest selection of table games, the lowest minimum bets, the highest maximum bets, and a state-of-the-art sports book. So you tell us. Northern Quest, yes, the best. Play daily to carve out your share of Jack-o'-lantern loot on October 27th.
If
If you're looking to remodel your home with some new stylish flooring or maybe some modern wallscape ideas, then you need to visit one of Windsor Plywood's 2 locations for the best selection of doors, floors, moldings, and more.
Windsor Plywood.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
A 2-year-old overdosed on fentanyl she found in the park where she played. It's not just our cities. It's killing kids from Bellingham to Pullman because Patty Murray kept our borders open and defunded our police. Now, record rapes, carjacking, murders, and overdoses plague our communities, and victims have nowhere to turn. Who's to blame? Patty Murray. 30 years, and we are less safe.
The 13-year mystery. What happened to Brittany?
Hey, Brett.
Next, Inside Edition. The one-eyed monster who is finally fessing up to what he did to the promising young woman. His shocking confession. Then, phony Gucci factory? Raid on the warehouse that cops say churned out $40 million in fake designer labels.
Gucci gloves, Gucci hats.
Watch the next Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
NASA's highly anticipated UFO study is about to start. A team of astronomers, astrophysicists, biologists, former Pentagon officials, and a former NASA astronaut will conduct the survey. They're going to analyze unclassified data on UAPs gathered by government, civilian, and commercial entities, and they will look at ways NASA can improve its analysis of that data. NASA plans to release its findings sometime late next year.
Oh, that is going to be interesting. 55 degrees is our average high today, only 50, and we hit that before the rain started. Once the rain started, it was all 40s, 39 to start the day, our first day in the 30s so far this season. 33/100ths of an inch of fabulous rain at the airport. Boy, did we need it, and there's more to come. It's a good thing. Rain likely overnight tonight, not as heavy as what we saw earlier this afternoon. 34 degrees for an overnight low, 46 for a high tomorrow. Chance of some light rain showers in the morning. As we get into the afternoon, that chance will taper off, except in North Idaho. You'll hang on to those showers a little longer. I'll show you on the computer model, starting off at 7 o'clock with the rain continuing from the Tri-Cities through the Palouse and the LC Valley. As we get into the overnight, we'll bring up another round of valley rain and mountain snow. Snow level dropping to around 4,000 feet, perhaps a little bit below. Here is 3 a.m. with another round of wet weather. Tomorrow morning, most of the rain is going to be in North Idaho, but we're awfully close. You may find a light rain shower throughout the morning, especially if you are in Post Falls, Spokane Valley, those areas. Ponderosa area, you have a little bit better chance of seeing the rain than if you're in downtown or Airway Heights. Finally, by 7 o'clock Saturday evening, the wet weather is cleared most of North Idaho, just the mountain areas picking up a little more snow before we get a more substantial break. Powerful cold front and area of low pressure moving through the area right now, leaving behind an upper level trough for Saturday that's going to keep things cool and unsettled. Then on Sunday, we are in a dry northerly flow. It's going to be a cool day, but we should be staying dry and actually see a fair amount of sunshine. Good day to get things done because the next front is already geared up, moving in for Monday. 60% chance of rain on Monday, and depending on the timing, we could see some snow mixing in. More showers Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of the long-term forecasts are calling for above average precipitation. Overnight lows tonight will be down primarily in the 30s around the region. The coldest night of the season so far. A lot of furnaces clicking on tonight and fuzzy jammies coming out of the drawers. 46 for a high tomorrow in Spokane, 42 in Coeur d'Alene. Warmer and drier the further west you go into the Columbia Basin and the Okanagan. The planning forecast, plan to enjoy Sunday. We're going to walk those dogs and rake the lawn. We've got some more wet weather coming in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly a break on Thursday, but we'll have to track these storms day by day. Download the 4 News Now First Alert weather app to keep on top of these systems and watch that radar as you're out and about tomorrow. Also, meteorologist Matt Gray will be here through the weekend to keep you updated on the next rounds of storms. Those cool mornings in the 30s has me grateful that the coats for kids have been pouring in. We have gotten some gorgeous coats, so many brand new coats, and we are still collecting. So as you are out and about buying coats for your brood, pick up a few extra. Let us have the ones that don't fit anymore. We'll take the used ones and get them cleaned at Alsco. We're already doing some distribution. If you go to kxly.com/coats4kids, there's a complete rundown of distribution sites. If you know a child that needs a coat this winter, let us know. We'll make sure every child stays warm. Aaron?
That's good to hear. Thank you, Chris. The IRS is letting you put more money towards retirement next year.
Find out why coming up. And a horrifying case of child abuse. Hear from the woman who met the 2 teens as they were desperately asking for help on her doorstep.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
911, what's your emergency?
I smell something delicious and I don't know what it is.
Ma'am, we've traced the smell and it's coming from inside your oven.
Ah, amazing.
Papa Murphy's. Next week, look who's waking up with America's favorite morning show. Kerry Washington, Shonda Rhimes, Tony Hale, Henry Cavill, and what legendary rocker AC/DC frontman Brian Johnson says will leave you thunderstruck.
It was just magic.
Next week on GMA.
Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi just supersized the IRS to get more money to spend. $80 billion, 5 times the current budget of the IRS. 87,000 new recruits, an IRS larger than the Pentagon. But this battle isn't over. I'll keep fighting to protect law-abiding, hard-working Idahoans. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message. We must stop Washington's overreach.
Get your home ready for the holidays at Walker's as they offer a double your sales tax discount or no minimum purchase, no money down, no interest for up to 5 years financing.
Making it the perfect time to furnish your life for less at Walker's.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day. Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion. Kathy McMorris Rogers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers and I approve this message.
What is a jewelry design center? It's a diamond superstore, a center for engagement rings, wedding bands, and anniversary rings. A showroom with unique creations as well as award-winning designers. A fun, comfortable, no-pressure place where you are free to make big, small, or even no decisions at all. We are not your average jewelry store. We are Jewelry Design Center, and we want to be your jeweler for life.
911, what's your emergency?
I smell something delicious and I don't know what it is.
Ma'am, we've traced the smell and it's coming from inside your oven.
Amazing.
Papa Murphy's. 4 News Now is brought to you by the Cal Superstore in Airway Heights.
New tonight at 6, 2 teens in Texas held captive in their home. Police investigating their mother and her boyfriend for abuse. We do want to warn you, some of the details in this case are disturbing.
ABC's Morgan Norwood has more on the Good Samaritan who took the teens in after they showed up on her doorstep asking for help.
Help us. The moment of escape. 2 teens frantically begging a neighbor for help after police say they were finally able to break out of their home where they were allegedly being held captive by their own mother.
As soon as I heard the little voices for help, crying for help, I knew
immediately I needed to open that door.
At 5:30 Tuesday morning, the twins show up to their neighbor's doorstep. Their pleas caught on this doorbell video camera. Their neighbor, who wants to remain anonymous, telling ABC News she gave them blankets and food. The twins telling her they were handcuffed and held captive in the family's laundry room.
Their hands were so swollen. Their poor hands were bigger than the rest of their body, basically. I mean, you could tell that they both had been struggling and pulling and tugging on those handcuffs, trying to get them off. It was awful.
According to them, they weren't allowed to leave the laundry room. They were naked most of the time, hit with a curtain rod and also electrical cords.
Later that day, law enforcement issuing an Amber Alert for their 5 siblings who have since been found and taken under Child and Family Services. Police say their mother, Zakiya Duncan, and her 27-year-old boyfriend, Jova Terrell, took off with the family to Baton Rouge. The pair are now facing preliminary charges of assault and continuous violence behind bars in Louisiana and waiting to be extradited back to Houston. And this isn't the only abuse case against the mother. Court documents show that Zakiya Duncan pleaded guilty to child cruelty charges in Louisiana 10 years ago when her 5-year-old son ended up in the emergency room. As for the twins, they're being treated at an area hospital. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, President Biden is basing the economic agenda put forth by Republicans, calling it mega MAGA trickle down. The president also bragging about the plunging federal deficit as evidence that his economic policies are working.
Going from historically strong economic recovery to a steady and stable growth while reducing the deficit. Building an economy where everyone does well. Where the poor have a ladder up, the middle class does well, and the wealthy do very well. They're not hurt by it.
President Biden noted the federal deficit went up every year that former President Donald Trump was in office. He claimed if Republicans were in power, they would add $3 trillion to the deficit.
The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol has officially sent a subpoena to former President Donald Trump. The group wants Trump to sit for a deposition under oath and to provide documents by next month. The committee is looking at evidence that Trump was at the center of the multifaceted plot to overturn the 2020 presidential election. It's unclear if Mr. Trump will comply with that subpoena. Former President Trump's chief strategist will spend 4 months in prison. Steve Bannon was found guilty for failing to produce a single document and refused to sit down for a deposition with the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The panel wanting to know why he made these comments the day before the insurrection.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
For months, Bannon refused to cooperate, claiming executive privilege despite leaving the White House back in 2017. Bannon won't have to serve any time until after his appeal process concludes.
The IRS announced they will allow you to invest nearly 10% more toward your retirement next year, which could add up to more than $22,000. You won't be surprised to hear the jump is because of inflation. Earlier this week, they also announced changes to federal income tax brackets, which will likely mean a boost in take-home pay.
Over the years, many major sites like LinkedIn and TikTok have suffered attacks where hackers gained access to users' passwords. While most people do try to avoid having their personal information leaked, it still happens all the time. There are even sites that collect email addresses and passwords that have been breached, and it's likely some of your data is on those sites too.
People, when they log into their accounts, they reuse their passwords, or they change it just ever so slightly. And when you do that, if you've been in a breach, which all of us have, that means I can take that password and I can shove that into all the other sites that you log into.
Tip number 1, don't use the same password for different sites. If a site is attacked and your password is leaked, hackers can use that for other sites if you're using the same password. Tip number 2, don't use very similar passwords across different websites. Tip number 3, use long, random, and unique passwords. If you need help remembering them, store them in a password manager like 1Password, which keeps your passwords safe and encrypted. One Gonzaga basketball player spent the afternoon giving back to those in need. We hear from him later in sports.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
How wild would it be to win $5,000 cash? Join us at Coeur d'Alene Casino as we rev up the winnings with the $100,000 Wild Wheeling Lucky You hot seats on select Tuesdays and Thursdays in October. Play with your Core Rewards card for a chance to be one of 20 players to win a $5,000 jackpot. Get here before they're gone. The $100,000 Wild Wheeling Lucky You hot seats, only at Coeur d'Alene Casino. For more information, visit cdacasino.com.
Farming has always been a part of the Inland Northwest. The Washington Association of Wheat Growers is proud to bring you a tribute for our farmers.
Washington farmers provide wholesome, nutritious products, including the wheat we enjoy in cakes, cookies, crackers, bread, and noodles. A functional and efficient transportation infrastructure by way of river, rail, and highway is critical to our agriculture industry and to meet the demand for food products. Let's keep Washington moving.
A tribute for our great Inland Northwest farmers. Brought to you by the Washington Association of Wheat Growers.
Here at the Meade School District, energy management has been something that's been on the rise as far as what's important to us. The reason why is, as the budget continues to shrink, we need to do more with less. Yeah, I love Avista. They've been really great to work with. When I have energy efficiency ideas, I get in touch with my rep. They'll go back to their project managers and to the engineers. Avista does a really great job at telling you what the simple payback will be of any of the projects, and then you can make an educated decision on whether you want to move forward.
It's time for 4 News Now, Coats for Kids. Just drop off new or gently used coats at any of our sponsored locations. We'll bring them to Alsco for professional cleaning, then get them out to local children in need. Donate to Coats for Kids through October 31st.
Global Credit Union is very active in our community, and Coats for Kids is one of the causes that we love. And it's not only coats, we also accept cash. So bring your donations to any Global Credit Union branch location, and we'll purchase brand new coats for our community. At Global Credit Union, we love being a part of Coats for Kids.
Meet your local essential workers.
What I like about the UFCW 3000 is for the benefits that make our lives better.
They make sure that we have secured pension and retirement.
I can work part-time and still maintain my health care coverage.
I don't see myself going anywhere else because of UFCW 3000 benefits and wages.
Thanks, UFCW 3000.
Support local essential workers who live in and support our community. Go to ufcw3000.org to learn more.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Yeah, breaking news. Within the last hour, Curry Pinkham has been arrested. Colville Tribal Police say he was involved in the triple shooting that left 2 people dead and 1 officer injured. This is a developing story. We have the latest on KXLY.com. In our For the People coverage, Washington's 6th district covers parts of South and Northwest Spokane, as well as Cheney and Medical Lake.
Running for re-election for position 2 is incumbent Jenny Graham. Running against her is Michelle Kelso. Bronte Sorotsky spoke to both candidates on the key issues they're focused on.
Crime and safety are some of the biggest issues legislative candidates say face Washington. Kelso and Graham, both running for District 6, Position 1, have different approaches to tackle this issue.
Michelle Kelso hasn't held public office before, but she's looking to get her foot in the door this election.
In short, my 3 important topics are education, healthcare, and the housing crisis.
If elected, she says she wants to work to make housing in Washington more affordable.
Introduce legislation that provides grants or in public-private partnership assistance so that communities can build more affordable housing, low-income housing, but also build and maintain shelters for those who they are having trouble finding an appropriate place to live. And
she faces Jenny Graham, who's been in office since 2018. Graham says her biggest priorities are making sure victims of crime are heard and protected.
The criminals are held way up ahead over the victims that are created, and that's not right. And that is where I can make a difference.
Graham says if reelected, she wants to continue to work on public safety.
I want Spokane to have that message that goes out that if you want to peddle drugs, you want to go after our children or our families to enslave them in human trafficking, Spokane is not the place that you want to go. I am going to work to make it as difficult as I possibly can for them to function here.
In 2020, Graham faced criticism after sharing posts about the COVID vaccine on social media.
I didn't spread misinformation. If you go back and you read the news article, what it was that I said, I've seen these vaccine bills come through, and I was concerned. I was saying, please don't cut corners on, these medicines or therapies. And can we have somebody else besides the pharmaceutical company that can't be sued doing the testing?
Kelso says she wants to address housing to address crime.
People generally don't steal food from the grocery store just because they don't want to pay for it, but because they can't afford it.
Now, something both candidates did agree on is that crime and public safety are major issues affecting their districts. While Graham is tougher on criminals and is looking to remove their eligibility for early release, Kelso says the accessible housing and less people on the streets can reduce crime. Live in studio, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Bronte, thank you. One race to keep an eye on is the U.S. Senate race between Tiffany Smiley and incumbent Patty Murray. If Smiley were to win it, would shift the balance of power for the Washington race for the U.S. Senate between them. And it would shift the balance of power, as we just said, in Washington, D.C. They will be going head-to-head this Sunday at Gonzaga University. You can watch their entire debate starting at 5 o'clock right here on 4 News Now. Or you can watch it on the go on KXLY.com or KXLY Plus, followed by a special edition of 4 News Now at 6.
Oh, you are looking at a live picture of downtown Spokane. Hopefully everyone out and about tonight in downtown watched the First Alert forecast and is dressed for the weather, because we have had quite a change. And I don't know about you, but it came to a shock. Even though I knew it was coming, I don't think my body was ready for 40-degree weather and rain. Here are 4 things to know about your forecast. It is going to be a damp and chilly evening around the region, particularly in North Idaho, down on the Palouse, some of the places I'll show you in a moment where the rain continues. We do have some mountain snow in progress around the region. Showery conditions on Saturday, especially in the morning. The rain will be lighter than what we had today, but it is going to be fairly unpleasant on the soccer game sidelines tomorrow morning. We are going to be drying out the second half of the day, heading into a dry, slightly warmer Sunday. Warmer compared to Saturday, but no sign of the 70s that we were kind of getting used to there for a while. Here's a look at our satellite and radar at the wet weather in progress. A lot of the steadier, more moderate rain has now moved to the south of the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area, draped along the Washington-Oregon border presently, and we're bringing in slightly drier air, but we're far from finished with the wet weather. We'll zoom in here around the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area specifically, and we'll find some very light rain from right around Coeur d'Alene up through Spirit Lake. But the Spokane area, for the most part, is in a lull. We'll bring back more rain overnight tonight, and again, light showers off and on through Saturday morning and possibly into early Saturday afternoon. Here's the other part of the story. The wet weather, it is also chilly. We are in the 30s right now in Deer Park, Spirit Lake, Post Falls, and Hayden. It's only 39 degrees in Liberty Lake presently. It's 43 at Spokane International Airport and 42 in Coeur d'Alene. One note about that temperature, 43, that was our previous lowest reading of the season. Now that's our daytime high pretty much. We had our high actually earlier in the day, and once that rain started, we dropped into the 40s. It's 39 in Bonners Ferry right now, 37 degrees in Sandpoint. In your day planner for tomorrow, we're looking for a high temperature of only 46 degrees. Again, best chance of rain will be the first part of the day, and then we'll start drying out. I'll be back with the second half of your weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Gonzaga basketball is used to dishing out assists on the court, and junior Anton Watson was giving out assists off the court. Watson volunteered at the Salvation Army's food bank in Spokane this afternoon. Watson handed out food to families in need. He also stopped by to say hello to some of the foster children at the Family Resource Center there. Now, for Watson, it's all about giving back to the community he grew up in.
Always wanted to help the community, and it's right down the street from GU. My friend lives about 2 minutes away from here, so I definitely found like this spot was a good location, a good spot to help out and you know, just to learn more about it is definitely was the right choice. And I'm just, all these kids, they're helping all the families, and it's just something that I would like to be a part of and help out with too.
Watson will also be the guest speaker at the Salvation Army's Celebrate the Season Bash fundraiser on November 18th. And Watson's teammate, Gonzaga big man Drew Timme, was named the CBS Sports Preseason National Player of the Year for the second straight year. Timme is coming off a season in which he led the West Coast Conference in scoring at 18.5 points a game and was a finalist for the John R. Wooden Player of the Year award. Timme, Watson, and the rest of the Zags hit the court a week from tonight when they take on number 11 Tennessee in an exhibition game in Frisco, Texas. Washington State football has a lot of work to do between now and next Thursday when the Cougars host number 15 Utah. One area that's been a concern for Wazoo this entire season is the offensive line. The Cougars rank near the bottom in all of college football in sacks allowed. Wazoo allowed 6 sacks last week against Oregon State alone. Head coach Jake Dickert says it's been a point of emphasis during this week in practice.
I think there's protection and getting beat, okay, which will happen, and we got to coach better technique and understanding. We got to execute better, and there's misassignments in protection, okay, and there's been too many of those. And those are the things, you know, as coaches and myself, we pride ourselves on the details. So to have some lapses in that area are things that we're really working on this week to make sure we're really shored up. And like I said, credit to Oregon State, but we got to be better.
Indeed, they do. They got to bring their A game when they host number 15 Utah, 7 o'clock next Thursday night at Martin Stadium. Guys.
Julian, thank you. Well, the Cougs may be off this week, but there are plenty of big matchups you can watch right here on ABC.
Let's send it over to ESPN's Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit with a preview of this week's matchups.
A day in which there will be 5 games matching ranked opponents, a couple of them on ABC, starting with Syracuse and Clemson. Kirk, the Orange still unbeaten, but this is really the test to see if they're real.
Yeah, I think often in college football you get to week 5 or week 6, and certain teams haven't really been tested, and yet here they are with a great record and they're ranked. That feels like Syracuse. And now we're going to find out, as Reese said, how good they really are. Early kick at Death Valley. Clemson just seems to be believing more and more in each other. And their offense, I think, has a chance to go up against this 3-3-5 stack and put up some numbers.
Top to bottom, the Big 12 is probably the most competitive conference. Texas and Oklahoma State both in the thick of the fight.
Well, this is a great game. Now, keep an eye on Spencer Sanders. He has a dinged-up shoulder. Looks like he will play in this game. But Steve Sarkisian's team is another one of these teams. They've had a couple setbacks, but it just feels different with them. And I think Quinn Ewers potentially could have a big day throwing the football.
And in prime time, Minnesota and Penn State, both quarterbacks questionable in this game and both coming off losses.
Yeah, and Penn State, not only the disappointing loss to Michigan, they have Ohio State next week. And in this sandwich game against Minnesota, luckily they're at home. They've got to regroup. And Clifford, if he's not able to play, this offense still has to find ways to get points on the board.
Getting deep in October, starting to separate teams into contenders, and those will just have to finish out the season being spoilers.
Well, as you've heard Chris telling us about, snow is starting to fall on the mountaintops, and that means we are one day closer to ski and snowboard season. Coming up, we will give you a bird's eye view of one spot in this week's Air for Adventure.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Shriners Children's Spokane, the most amazing care anywhere.
This is another one of those surprise medical bills you get in the mail. I've gotten them. You've gotten them. I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers. With inflation crushing our families, we need to put a stop to these. I support requiring hospitals, insurers, and doctors to disclose their prices so you can know the real cost and can shop around for the best care. I approve this message because no one likes surprises, especially this kind.
With more and more people working from home and not being as active as they used to, there's never been a better time to get back to the gym.
And Move Fitness wants to help. You can join now for around $1 a day to create a new routine for you. Join the movement. You already know that free Camus rewards let you earn and redeem points everywhere at Northern Quest. But did you know that everywhere includes the all-new East Pan Asian cuisine and Neon Pizza? Plus, you'll enjoy our new weekday happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. You'll even save 10 cents a gallon at our Kalispell Chevrons. And new Camus Rewards members can win up to $2,022 in reward play instantly. Only at Northern Quest. Yes, the best.
Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi just supersized the IRS to get more money to spend. $80 billion, 5 times the current budget of the IRS. 87,000 new recruits, an IRS larger than the Pentagon. But this battle isn't over. I'll keep fighting to protect law-abiding, hard-working Idahoans. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message. We must stop Washington's overreach.
I don't think we've ever had that in 14 seasons.
I will work like a lion. I'm a believer.
I'm going to make you filthy rich.
Let's go!
New Shark Tank tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Next ET, Taylor Swift's Midnight's Decoded.
I just have a great time with these things.
Plus, our explosive Derek Huff exclusive.
I want pyro. I want fireworks.
His wild wedding wish list revealed and the date set.
That's our goal.
Then, our SEAL Team exclusive on set for their milestone 100th episode.
Congratulations, everybody. Cheers. Salud.
Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
We're tracking a story that's trending online. Overnight, the 11-time Grammy Award-winning superstar Taylor Swift finally dropped her 10th studio album. It's called Midnights, and the 13-track album is already a hit with fans. Spotify saw overwhelming traffic, and users even reported outages worldwide. Critics are impressed, too. Rolling Stone calls it an instant classic. Others say it could be Swift's best album so far.
That's impressive. With the weather finally starting to cool down, the anticipation is building for the return of ski and snowboard season.
And to get you pumped, we're giving you a bird's eye view of the slopes in this week's Air 4 adventure. Let's go for a ride on the Air 4 drone over Lookout Pass.
We're at Lookout Pass here today, and we're enjoying an awesome day, and conditions are just sweet. Lookout's a very family-friendly area. We've been operating, we're the oldest ski area in Idaho since 1935, and we've been operating continuously ever since. It's just been nice, easy terrain, a nice mix of terrain, but what's really exciting is what we have coming on in the future with the expansion of the back bowl. High quality snow, averaging over 400 inches a year. The past 2 years, we've had 462 and 502 inches. We do not have any snowmaking, but I will say that we've been blessed by Mother Nature and Old Man Winter because it falls from the heavens. We have terrain that's challenging for both skiers and snowboarders. We have some terrain parks that are nice and fun. We've got one of the longest natural half pipes on the mountain. It's an old drainage from a mine at the top. It's called Rolling Thunder. A lot of our senior skiers really like this easy transition from the parking lot. They can literally walk on a flat surface, no steps, no stairs, right to the lift, start skiing. Kind of going up the chairlift line, just a little off to the left side of the chairlift line is known as the Idaho face, and the other side is known as the Montana face because that's the dividing line between the two states. Everything on the mountain's open, so that you just got to get here and have fun.
That was some fun music. Well, if you're looking to upgrade some of your snow gear, you'll want to check out the Mount Spokane Ski Patrol Ski Swap happening in just a few weeks. There are going to be more than 22,000 new and used items, including skis, snowboards, clothing, goggles, and children's gear. The swap will be held at the Spokane County Fairgrounds and Expo Center on October 29th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and October 30th from 9 a.m. to noon. So it's even closer than we think. For more information on the ski swap, just look for this story on KXLY.com. Disney on Ice returns to the Spokane Arena this weekend. This year, Mickey and his pals are going on a road trip. The show features characters from Toy Story, Mary Poppins, Moana, Lion King, and more. It's also one of the most interactive Disney on Ice shows, with audience members getting to come into the road trip car with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. During that show, my toddler would just lose it. She wouldn't even know what to do with that. Tickets are still available for the shows this weekend. They range between $20 and $100, and kids under 2 get in for free. For more information and the link to buy tickets, look for this story on KXLY.com.
Night, the all-new 2020 true crime. A wife murdered, a husband on the run.
He vanished without a trace.
And the worldwide manhunt.
Wait until you hear what our team uncovered.
2020 tonight on ABC.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
There's a clear choice for Senate. While Tiffany Smiley stood with Mitch McConnell and the big drug companies to oppose lowering the cost of prescription drugs, Patty Murray is busy working for us.
I worked with Democrats and Republicans to ban surprise medical bills, and I led the fight to pass legislation to lower the cost of prescription drugs, including capping insulin at $35 a month. I'm Patty Murray. I approve this message to focus on what really matters, you.
Chewila Casino is giving you the chance to win Monster Mash Cash this Saturday. Here's how you could win your share of over $12,000 cash. Play your favorite games with your Sun Club card. Earn entries for Monster Mash Cash. Monster Mash Cash drawings happen this Saturday, October 22nd. Cash prizes drawn every 30 minutes starting at 6 p.m. We are the place that treats you right. 100% non-smoking. Learn more at ChewilaCasino.com.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
Vote with confidence this November. In Washington, our layered cybersecurity systems, trained officials, and election audits make sure every vote is counted accurately. After you've received your ballot packet in the mail, fill it out and send it back in your signed return envelope. You can also put it in an official Dropbox or submit it in person. Visit votewa.gov to register, find voting locations, and check your ballot status.
Ford News Now is brought to you by Post Falls Volkswagen.
Won't be long now. We'll be doing the ski report on Thursdays and Fridays at this time. A little preview. Not quite ready to put on the rock skis, but at 49 degrees north, this was the scene today. Snow in progress and a little bit of coverage there. Not bad. We'll take it. Here we are in October. Silver Mountain. Here was the scene. You can see the gondola there and snow in progress. Really pretty scene. You know they were jumping for joy when this was happening. And finally at Schweitzer Mountain, snow. There's more snow coming, and there's a friend, your snowmaker. It's going to be cold enough to make snow here too. So it's all good news, unless you want to go over the passes. That's when things start getting tricky. But right now on Snoqualmie Pass, should be staying as rain. Green for go. Stevens Pass, 1 to 2 inches of snow possible for tomorrow. So caution, especially if you haven't quite got your winter driving skills back up to par. Sometimes you forget a little bit over the summer. Lookout Pass, also 2 to 4 inches of snow possible tomorrow. Right now it's in good shape. It is wet, even though we've had some snow there. 4th of July Pass, just rain going tomorrow. Here's a look at our satellite and radar right now, and things have really dried off in the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho. Just some lingering light precipitation as our front sags to the south and we see the steadier rains from the Tri-Cities through the Lewiston area and into the central and southern panhandle. Our forecast radar picks up on that perfectly as we get into the overnight. However, we bring in another round of rain into the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. Here's 3 a.m. Staying pretty dry, though, for the Columbia Basin, and that's the way it should stay. We're going to be confining most of the rain by the time we're into Saturday morning into North Idaho. Still the possibility of some showers here and there throughout the morning and early afternoon in Spokane, but any rain we get tomorrow should be fairly light in Spokane, but we'll keep things going in North Idaho right on into the evening. Then we're going to see up in the panhandle some snow in the mountains. Snow level dropping down a little bit lower, but I think that the valley location should be in good shape. Here's a look at your planning forecast. As we dry out Saturday, the second part of the day will stay dry for Sunday. Then the next system comes in on Monday, and depending on the timing, there's the potential to see a little bit of snow trying to mix in with the rain in the lower elevations. Otherwise, it is rain showers off and on through next week, possibly staying dry on Thursday. Overnight lows in the 30s. Through the 7-day forecast, including 32 degrees Saturday night. That'd be our first freezing temperature of the season in Spokane. We're overdue. Aaron?
Thanks, Chris. Well, here. Oh, we want to. How about we get you next time, or do you want to go back?
Sorry about that.
There we are.
Codes for Kids. It's going through October 31st. Go to KXLY.com/CodesForKids, and all the information is there about where you can drop them off and where you can pick them up, Aaron.
It's exciting. It's almost coming to the full distribution. Thanks, Chris. Well, here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight. It's Shark Tank at 8, followed by 2020 at 9 o'clock.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
On October 3rd, 2022, Spokane Television Inc., licensee of KXLY TV, Digital Channel 13 VHF, and Virtual Channel 4, licensed to serve Spokane, Washington, filed an application with the Federal Communications Commission for renewal of its license. Members of the public wishing to view this application or obtain information about how to file comments and petitions on the application can visit publicfiles.fcc.gov and search in KXLY TV's Public Files.
This could be the view out of your office window. Link Transit, serving the picturesque communities of Wenatchee, Leavenworth, Chelan, and many more, is looking for drivers to join our team on some of the most beautiful routes in all of Washington. Link Transit coach operators enjoy full family benefits, paid CDL training, a state-of-the-art fleet, and the satisfaction of being part of a progressive, community-minded team. If you like this view, Link has a seat for you. The next operator training starts soon. Apply today at linktransit.com.
And family fun, all in one place. River Park Square.
Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi just supersized the IRS to get more money to spend. $80 billion, 5 times the current budget of the IRS. 87,000 new recruits, an IRS larger than the Pentagon. But this battle isn't over. I'll keep fighting to protect law-abiding, hard-working Idahoans. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message. We must stop Washington's overreach.
It's time. Time to set your eyes free. Free from limitations in your vision. Free from glasses and contacts. Free to see your best and be your best. It's time to smile. Smile is state-of-the-art laser vision correction, or LVC for short. Smile is easy on the eyes. It's bladeless, flapless, and effortless.
Contact Empire Eye Physicians today to learn more about Smile, the new alternative to LASIK.
4 News Now is brought to you by Kerner Furniture.
Well, brand new tonight at 6:30. You're looking at the newly opened and the world's longest timber-towered suspension bridge in Michigan. At roughly 1,200 feet long, it provides stunning views of Boyne Mountain. Chris, you said, have you been there? You know
I have skied Boyne Mountain, and my husband's family has a place near there. I did not know that was under construction. Look at those fall colors. Wow.
Beautiful.
A suspension bridge, sort of like bowl and pitcher.
Oh, a little bit bigger.
Look at you with the